everyone, this is Faisal, certified high performance coach and a lifelong student of philosophy, spirituality and sciences. Today is challenge day 30. Can't believe we're on the last day. And today's topic is purposeful life. Before I get into the topic and into the questions, as always, I want to take the time to thank all those who have been participating in these discussions, all those who have been liking and sharing the posts, all those who have been posting their answers in the comment section for them to learn more and for everybody to learn from their ideas, thoughts, and strategies. And I'm even thankful for all those who have just watched the video and thought about it in their own life, because I know when you start applying, when you start thinking about these ideas and when you start applying these in your life on a consistent basis, it will make a tremendous amount of difference. So once again, thank you very much, and make sure you keep liking and sharing the videos, all the videos, and make sure you keep encouraging others to join us in these discussions. As I have said before, the more people join us, the more we learn. So today's topic, purposeful life. You might be thinking, who is this guy with the inflated ego trying to teach us about purpose? Well, some of you might be thinking that. Well, for one thing, as I've explained before, we all have egos. And secondly, I'll try to explain this, I'll try to express this in the least amount of egoic way possible. Okay, so purpose. What is purpose and what is purposeful life? When I'm doing my coaching, part of my high performance coaching program is to teach people about purpose. And whenever a new client comes, it's always the same comment. It's always the same question, or it's always the same comment that they make about their life. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I want from life. I don't know what to do in life. I don't know what will give me meaning in life. And that's basically what it is. And a lot of times when I listen to that, I smile, not as a demeaning thing or anything, but because I struggled with the same question. But now that I've gotten into it, that I've studied it for so long, I've tried to live that in my own life, I realize it's not as complicated as people make it, and it's not as giant and what do you call it? It's not as much of a big concept that people try to make it. It's an accumulation of concepts, and this is why I've placed purpose at the end of all the other topics. Because for you to understand purpose fully, you would have to go through the rest of the topics. Doesn't mean you won't learn from this topic, but what it means is that for you to understand, grasp this fully, first you have to think about those concepts that we talked about, that we discussed. And secondly, you have to start applying them in your life on a consistent basis. And this is where purpose comes in. So what is purpose really? Purpose, if you just take the meaning, all it means is that it gives you meaning, something that gives you meaning in life. And many people think purpose in terms of, oh, it's got to be this big sign that comes from the sky or from within them or this and that. But if you actually study people who have lived a purposeful life, who have created meaning in their life, and that's the key, created, they didn't, for the most part, get something randomly or a sign dropped in front of them saying, this is your purpose, you must go towards this. It didn't really happen like this. But what did happen was that they were guided in some way, from within mostly, but a lot of times people created meaning in their life. And that's what really purpose becomes, that the way we create a purposeful life is pay attention to our intentions and our actions to create meaningful experiences and goals, or to go towards meaningful experiences or goals. So in other words, purpose basically means to consciously direct your intentions and actions towards meaningful experiences and goals in life. And as soon as you talk about experiences and goals, people go crazy because they're like, oh, well, I'm not doing anything that's meaningful right now in terms of my job. It doesn't really have to be your job. And even if you are in a job that's completely meaningless, you can make it meaningful. So let me explain how. Okay, so when we think of purpose, a lot of people think of it just in terms of what they do or what they go towards, and that's a big part of it in terms of your career, your job, or how you serve people. But there are other parts of a purpose. For me, being purposeful, actually before I even go there, purpose, many people try to go towards purpose in terms of finding their purpose, but much of what purpose is, it's more about living with purpose, living with meaning. So let me ask you this: how many meaningful experiences did you have in the last week or two? And when you think about that, meaningful experiences can be any experiences. And when we think about meaningful experiences, they could be experiences related to who you are, what made you happy in that moment. They could be experiences related to your relationships. They could be experiences related to what you do. They could be experiences related to you looking forward to your goals. So all these come into the category of purpose. And purposeful life is not about somebody setting a goal, oh, I'm going to make $1 billion company, or I'm going to create this organization. That might as well be your purpose. That's fine. But it doesn't have to be big. And this is why people make this complicated. But what it is when you wake up every day, when you wake up from your sleep, what is your intention for the day? Do you intend to have a meaningful day? Do you intend to create meaningful experiences? Do you intend to do something nice for somebody? Do you intend to do something nice for yourself? Do you intend to serve somebody? One of the biggest reasons I'm doing this is because it creates meaning in my life. Why? Because this, if I had something like this a few years ago, it would have added a lot of value in my life. And I realized that if I learn this all these years, I can make a difference in somebody's life, whoever that might be. And same with our experiences in terms of what makes us happy. And that's where my first question comes in. When I asked you that first question in this post, I didn't repeat all the questions, but the first question was that, what do you go towards what makes you happy? And do you express your authentic self in the process? And they're both in line with each other, because when you're happy, you're expressing your authentic self. And if you don't know what your authentic self is, go to the topic for authentic self. And when we're happy, we are expressing our authentic self. And that has a lot to do with who you, with whether your life will be meaningful or not. Because if you're not happy, nothing else will matter. No matter what experiences you have in your life, you will completely filter them out, because you will be focused on your misery. And the second question that I asked you was related to your intentions. Like I said, purpose is about consciously being self-aware of your intentions, being self-aware of yourself, consciously directing your life, consciously directing your intentions. And then the third question I asked you about your actions. Are your actions in line with your intentions? So first you create an intention. You have to be clear about what is meaningful to you in life. What kind of experiences bring you meaning? Is it experiences of spending time with your child, spending time with your wife, spouse, spending time with your husband, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends, doing the thing that you love, creating art? What kind of intentions make you happy? And you have to consciously create those intentions. Sit down with yourself and think about what makes you happy in life. And this is the key to all of purpose, because as biological beings and as human beings, even animals, they have this compass within them. We're all programmed biologically to go towards pleasure and avoid pain. And much of pleasure is happiness. So when we go towards our happiness, we're following our inner compass. We're going towards what brings us joy. And that might not give you that grand purpose, but if you keep going towards that, it will make you happy, one, and then it will bring you new experiences where you will see that your purpose will get bigger and bigger, different. It will change, it will get bigger, it will become broader. You'll find more meaningful experiences, because as soon as you go towards your happiness, you'll find experiences that will make you more happy. And this is the key to purpose. It's your inner compass. We do a lot of things in life, whether that be being stuck at a job that makes us miserable. And sometimes it's our perception of the job that we think that it's not good enough for us. But a lot of times it's a dead-end job, and it doesn't bring any kind of meaning in our life. A lot of times we can bring meaning to the job by connecting with people, by doing extra projects, doing other things. But again, you have to think about it in terms of how you perceive your job and whether you should leave your job for your happiness. And that's what I had to decide too. I went through a lot of jobs where at the end I decided that this doesn't bring any meaning to my life. This doesn't bring me happiness. This doesn't serve my community, my family, my life in general. And those are choices you have to make. And sometimes there are hard choices. And that was the idea behind happiness being your directing force towards purpose. And then how do you create your intentions? Start small. Start every day that you wake up. Ask yourself, what do you love to do? What will make you happy, and what will make the people in your life happy? And start going towards your happiness. And it can't be something that makes other people happy and makes you miserable. Because a lot of people do things because of an obligation, and it completely beats the purpose of service. Because service is something that has to be from the heart. It has to be something that makes you happy, not something that makes you miserable. And so again, purpose is about consciously directing your intentions and actions towards meaningful experiences and goals. So your goal could be having a great relationship with your spouse, with your family, having a great relationship with your siblings, with your parents. Your meaningful experiences could be creating outings with everybody, creating a community for yourself where you guys meet each other. Your meaningful experiences could be going out with friends. Whatever they are, whatever makes you happy, whatever takes you whatever brings you joy, go towards those experiences, and you will find that the more you go towards them, the more other experiences will come towards you that will make you happier and that will create meaning in your life. And we talked about authentic self. When you think about authentic self, and when you think about self-expression, I talked about how we're all unique within ourselves. And the more we go towards our uniqueness, our self-expression, the more happy we become. And this is my self-expression. Every time I do this brings me joy, and this serves you guys as well, and it serves me as well. It teaches me a lot in terms of personal development, in terms of me expressing myself, in terms of me learning how to speak. A lot of benefits to it. Why? Because I'm just following what makes me happy, what brings me meaning in life. So that was a purpose in a nutshell. So how else do we know that what is our purpose? I mean, is there something written in the sky saying that this is your purpose, or you're going to get a vision that this is your purpose? Perhaps. Some people have had that. I haven't had that, to be honest. But when we look at the scholars, the teachers in the past, the spiritual teachers, the philosophers, the scientists, all these people, the teachers, the influential people who have taught us how to be, they always followed these three or four categories. One was studying nature around them, their environment. And many people lived in natural environments, so they naturally studied how the ecosystems work, how the environment works, how the water flows. And there's even like a way of life, spiritual teaching based on that, Taoism that was taught by Lao Tzu. almost all of that spiritual teaching is based on understanding nature, or even the examples are taken from water and anything related to natural forces. And many of the older religions and spiritual teachings were related to related to nature. And then another category was studying the spiritual texts. And what you will understand is that many of the texts, spiritual texts in the past, they were a combination of things. They were a combination of philosophy, spirituality, sciences, arts, everything in one. That's why when you look back at older scholars like Pythagoras was not just a philosopher or a mathematician. He was a philosopher, mathematician, musician, artist, a scientist. He was a spiritual teacher. He was a general teacher. He was teaching mathematics. Any kind of field that you can think of, he was going towards that. He was one of the people who actually traveled all the way to India, and he was considered a great teacher in India. Same with Plato. He studied a lot of stuff. Same with the Arab scholars that were around the Islamic time. And same with the European Renaissance age. When you think about Michelangelo, when we think about the scholars in the past, they studied every aspect of knowledge. Why? Because there's a common sense behind it. In nature, knowledge is not divided. So for you to understand nature properly, you have to understand at least the basics of every knowledge. That's why one of the reasons I've tried to bring knowledge from philosophy, spirituality, arts, and sciences together in this one program, at least the things that apply to this program. So we create a pattern that applies to our life. So the third category that people used to study was the human body and the human psyche and the human emotions. And guess what happened? Later on, when the knowledge became vast and the system started changing, I don't think it went in the right direction, but knowledge started segregating. Philosophy separated from science, it became natural science, then it became natural philosophy, it became science. Psychology separated from philosophy, spirituality separated from theology. All these ideas became separate, and now you see one person studying theology, the other person studying science, the other person studying philosophy, and they're not communicating with each other, many of them. And if they don't really know the bigger picture, they won't come up with a pattern that applies, that makes their life better, that makes the lives of humanity better. And this is the problem with many people, because they will study one subject and they think that they know about every other subject. I'm not saying everybody has to master every subject. We should all focus on one to master that. But we should know the basics of it all. So again, there were three categories that people used to study in the past. One was nature around them. Two was the collective knowledge, or the spiritual texts, or the philosophical texts. All the texts that were my knowledge of humanity. The three was the human body. And when you observe these things, the reason I'm bringing this up, there are certain topics that you will notice that will come up in all these subjects. Science doesn't contradict that. Philosophy doesn't contradict this. Theology doesn't contradict this. Spirituality doesn't contradict this. And those are some of the things that I'm going to explain. One of them is, you can think of them as signs from God or nature or the universe. One of them is being alive. And when you think about this, we're here, we're alive in these bodies. We're here to experience this life. We have choices. We can make choices. We can live. We can love. We can be. We can cry. We can experience. We can travel. We can do so many things. We are not limited in terms of our choices. We limit our own choices. We stop living. We start allowing our pain to become suffering. And a lot of people think pain is suffering, but it's when you keep going towards pain, that becomes suffering. So we don't appreciate the fact that we're alive, so that's the first thing that stops us from finding our purpose. And the second thing, if you think about it, in the 7 billion or 7.5 billion or around wherever we're at right now, every human being is unique. I've talked about this in the authentic self topic, that we're all unique. Isn't that an amazing idea? Just as a snowflake's geometric structure is unique, every one of us are unique. What are the odds of you being the only one of you in 7 billion. Even if you're twins, you're different. I've had identical twins in my family, and they're very different. And when we think about that, what does that tell us? What does that sign tell us? It tells us to express that unique self of yours, whatever that is. And whether you express that through music, through arts, through science, through philosophy, through athleticism, however you express that, that is your purpose. That's a part of your purpose. And this is why I keep talking about self-expression, authentic self, uniqueness, ego, and the rest of them, because we need to understand what that unique self is within us. And then the third one, I believe, we're on second, yeah, third one is that we are all growth driven. We all go towards growth. How do we go towards, how do we know this? Because we're born as a little baby, physically we grow, we keep growing. Even as an adult, our body keeps changing. Mentally we grow. Emotionally we grow in terms of our learning. So we know that we have to keep the growth going, and a lot of people suffer because they stop from growing. I mean, there's so much information and knowledge on the internet that I'm creating this program for the people who are interested. I know even in my own personal life, the people that are close to me, some of them, many of them won't watch this because they're not open to growth. They're not open to knowledge. They're not open to making a better life for themselves. And a lot of people might not be ready. And there are very few people in the world that want to make their life better intentionally and want to make the lives of the people around them. They might want to make it better, but they don't take actions, conscious actions towards making their life better. And this, if I had access to this video 10 years ago, I can't imagine where my life would have been. And this is one of the reasons I brought all this knowledge together, all this information together for you guys. So we have to understand that growth is a part of our purpose. This is a hint from nature, from God, from universe, whatever you believe in. And another aspect of our natural collective knowledge and understanding of the natural world is that human beings are connection driven. What does that mean? That we all crave connection. We're a social species. We live in communities. We're born in families. So connection becomes a part of our experience, whether that be connection with your family members or with a friend or with another human being or even with an animal. We crave connection. Why? Because it's built into our biology. It's built into our psyche. It's built into our emotions. And connection could be a big part of your purpose. And that's why I said that your experiences could involve you having connection with your family. Your purpose could involve you having connection with your family, friends, and people around you. It could involve you raising the quality of their life. It could involve you making them happy. It could involve you creating experiences with each other. And this is a natural part of who we are. And the last one, if you think about it, all of us are here with free will. We're all given choices. Sometimes those choices are difficult, but human beings are able to make choices between this or that. At the least, we have always two options. But a lot of times we have multiple options, multiple choices that we can make. And people who are happy, who are purposeful, who are driven to create a better life for themselves, they are aware of their choices. They know the consequences of their choices. But people who are not aware of them, they are not self-aware. What they do is they make choices and then they blame others for the consequences because they didn't assess the consequences of their actions. We talked about law of cause and effect. If there is a cause behind it, there will be an effect. If you do something to harm your body, the effect is you'll get sick. You made a choice to harm your body. You made a choice not to take care of yourself. And when you combine these natural ideas, and when you combine the idea that our purpose is part of our intention, part of us directing our intentions consciously, part of us directing our actions consciously. And where do our intentions come from? They come from us having clarity in life, come from us knowing ourselves. That's why I created this whole 30-day program, this whole 30-day challenge, starting with you knowing yourself, starting with self-concept. If you actually divide it into chunks, this whole 30-day concept, it will be understand self-awareness, it would be getting rid of your burdens or releasing your burdens, The third would be empowering yourself with ideas such as expressing yourself, such as what else did we talk about? Expressing yourself, creating self-acceptance, creating self-love. And the fourth one would be moving forward. How do we go towards the goals, our dreams that we want to? So we can divide this whole thing into 4 chunks. And I designed it this way because I know that we have to understand these ideas incrementally. And once we get the majority of them, many of them, we'll understand what our purpose is. It's not that mysterious. We'll understand how to make meaningful experiences in our life. And that's what it is. Purpose is not something you find. It's something you live with. Something you create in your life. You can either wait for experiences to come your way, or you can create it in your life. You can create meaningful moments with your family and friends. You can create meaningful moments in your life by doing something that you love. You can create meaningful moments in your life by going towards what you love. You know, create meaningful moments by noticing the little things that bring you happiness. We talked about gratitude. We talk about being in the present. So all these become part of your purpose. And trust me, when you start thinking about these questions, when you start answering these questions from the beginning, from the first 30-day challenge, when you come to this point, you realize automatically that, wait, you can create purpose in your life. You don't have to wait for some miracle in the universe. And as a matter of fact, when you start living your life in the present, you will see miracles in the universe. You will see miracles around you. You'll see miracle in the ordinary things around you. You will see miracle in a childbirth and a baby looking at you. You will see miracle in relationships. You will see miracle in nature. You will see miracle in creation. But unless you open up to knowledge, unless you open up to experiences, unless you open up to yourself, you won't see any of this. We talked about how the mind filters out stuff. You have to release your burdens as well. We talked about releasing burdens by forgiveness, by detachment, by letting go. And unless we do these things, we'll always keep circling back. We'll be in this cycle where we keep being miserable because we haven't looked within yet. And we haven't looked without for knowledge. We haven't thought things through. We haven't experienced life. And that's all it is. You can find purpose in the simplest things in life, and the most mundane things in life, only if you're able to see them. If you can't be present with yourself, if you can't be at peace with yourself, then you won't be able to see anything. The only thing you will see is misery. And that's what we have to think about it. And I hope this video made a difference. I hope this 30-day challenge made a difference in your life. When we think about personal development, when we think about making our lives better and helping others around us make their lives better, it's all about intentions and actions. It's all about consistently having the intention, conscious intention to do things. It's all about consistently taking action to make your life better. You can take this whole thing as an idea and you will learn something from it, or you can apply these ideas in your life on a daily basis as an action. And that would be the difference between somebody who creates a better life for themselves compared to somebody who takes it as an idea and just moves on. And we all know how much knowledge and information is out there. Unless you apply it in your life, unless you create habits that you consistently apply in your life, then it won't make a difference in your life. And that's what we have to realize. So, thank you for all your patience, for all your time, for all your focus on this 30-day challenge. Thank you for posting your answers, for sharing your thoughts. Keep sharing the thoughts. The videos will be here. All those topics will be here. The people's answers will be here, so you can learn from them, so you can add your experiences to them, your thoughts to them. And I look forward to reading more of your thoughts. And I hope one day you sit down with yourself and ask yourself, how can I make my life better? And ask yourself the rest of the questions that we have posted in all of these. And I'll ask you the 3 questions, and actually, you can read the 3 questions. They're on the post, but I'll ask you one final question. What did you love about this 30-day challenge? And the second part of the question, what insights did you grab onto, or what did you learn from this challenge that you could apply in your life? or what did you learn that made your life better or made a difference in your life? Or what could you apply on a consistent basis from these ideas that will make your life better? So go ahead and answer that along with the 3 other questions that I've asked on the post. Make sure you post your answers below. Make sure you like and share the video and the rest of the videos. I really enjoyed doing these topics. I've learned a lot from this process. Like I've mentioned 100 times, I've learned how to communicate my ideas. I learned how to express myself. I learned how to bring more knowledge from within myself. I learned how to be myself, be my authentic self for you guys, so I can serve you guys and serve myself and my community. Thank you very much for watching these videos. Make sure you keep sharing the posts. Make sure you keep liking them. Make sure you keep posting your answers on all the videos as much as you can. These videos will be here, and I'll be posting them on more topics on YouTube as well. So keep following this. This is part of my purpose, and I'll keep going with this. Make sure you live your life with joy, with peace, with happiness. Make sure you find that peace within yourself, because as I've talked about this 100 times over the course of this 30-day challenge, unless you bring that joy and happiness and peace within yourself, you won't find it in your environment. And once you do, you will start to notice peace and joy in your environment. And make sure you find a way to live your life with freedom, not just from the external things, from your mind as well. Freedom, and make sure you live your life with possibilities. Have a great day, and make sure you keep following the page. I'll be doing other posts in the future, probably in the next week. And I'll see you guys then. Have a great day and week. Bye. If you loved or even liked the video or this episode, you can do 2 things right now. 1, you can click on the subscribe tab right here on the screen, or in the info area if you can't click on the screen. So you're up to date on all my free training, on all the free training that I send on my YouTube channel on a regular basis. And 2, you can click on the success indicator tab on the screen or in the info section, so you can get the training, the thorough training that I created for you, that has 10 factors that will determine whether or not you will be successful at anything that you do or want to do. And it will also help you create more success at anything that you want to do in life. So and this will also get you subscribed to my newsletter, so I can send you more of these free training on a regular basis that I don't post on my YouTube channel. So make sure you click on those 2 buttons or tabs, and make sure you like and share this video. Make sure you post your comments in the comments section below, so we can get more people involved in our community right here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.